You've probably seen the Louis Vuitton logo more times than you can count. On a stranger's tote in the subway, on a leather duffel sliding into a black car, on the window of a store you've never stepped inside. Walk down any city street and it's almost everywhere, quietly flexing luxury without ever saying a word. But think about it. When was the last time you actually saw a Louis Vuitton ad pop up on your screen? You probably can't. And that's the point. This is the thing about Louis Vuitton. It doesn't need hundreds of billboards or influencer partnerships to stay relevant. The brand is already in our head. But here's the twist. The brand still spent nearly 10 billion euros on marketing in 2024 alone. You may be wondering, where does this huge sum of money go when not on ads? Louis Vuitton just doesn't spend it the way everyone else does. Every logo placement, every product drop, every store location is a calculated move to maintain its aura. So how does a brand stay everywhere without ever shouting? Let's break down how Louis Vuitton wins the luxury war. By whispering. Well, most brands spend billions trying to be seen, but Louis Vuitton spends to be remembered. According to Bernard Arnault, chairman of LVMH, that's intentional. What made Louis Vuitton famous was the quality. We don't do marketing. We just create products which are exceptional in their design and craftsmanship. What he means is, the products are so good, they speak for themselves. This silent strategy works because it flips the rules of attention. By not shouting, Louis Vuitton creates curiosity. The brand relies on whisper branding, exclusive visuals, minimalist campaigns, and carefully chosen models. Every post, every photo, every storefront feels designed to withhold more than it shows. You'll find Louis Vuitton's social media presence curated, elegant, and regionally nuanced. Each post looks more like an art piece than an ad. And when you step into their stores, the personalization does the talking. Instead of being sold to, it feels more like you're being invited in. Despite this quiet approach, Louis Vuitton still sits on top of the luxury world, valued at nearly $130 billion in 2024. You may ask, if they're not advertising, how are they still everywhere? Louis Vuitton controls not only what it sells, but where it sells. The brand rarely works with third-party retailers or discount outlets, putting its products almost exclusively in its own boutiques. If you want Louis Vuitton, you go to Louis Vuitton. That's the rule. This control keeps the brand's image clean. No markdowns, no stock flooding the market. In fact, in Japan, a former executive refused to discount items, even when it meant losing money. The goal was simple: protect trust. When prices never change, the brand's value never slips. Louis Vuitton manages inventory the same way. Limited supply, highly curated collections, and very few entry-level products. In 2025, Louis Vuitton signed a 10-year partnership with Formula One. That's why you've seen its logo racing across circuits worldwide. According to CEO Pietro Beccari, the mission of Louis Vuitton is to surprise. Nothing is too big for us. So while other luxury brands are still fighting for shelf space, Louis Vuitton controls every inch of its own. That control goes beyond stores, as Louis Vuitton shapes its image through history. The monogram, trunk design, and Parisian origin tell a story older than modern advertising. Louis Vuitton's heritage runs deep. Its monogram canvas, introduced in 1896, still covers 70% of its leather goods sales. Even the iconic LV trunk you've probably seen on every celebrity's Instagram traces back to Paris 1854. To highlight that heritage, LVMH launched Nowness in 2010, presenting art, film, and culture stories. It rarely features the brand's own products, but it builds the world Louis Vuitton wants to live in. You start to link the brand with creativity and taste instead of marketing. Their artist collaborations, fashion shows, and limited collections grab attention without feeling like ads. They position Louis Vuitton as part of cultural conversation, not a spectator. For instance, the Takashi Murakami Tense LV multicolor monogram launch in 2003 reportedly made over $300 million in its first year. In 2025, LV revived that collection globally with 2 chapters and 170 pieces. Finally, the brand uses personalization to link the product to the person. When you shop from LV, you get free engraving, hot stamping, small touches that make it feel yours. Now, whenever you look at your new handbag, instead of thinking, "I bought this," you think, "This represents me."
In the end, it all circles back.
Louis Vuitton doesn't advertise because it doesn't need to, because it has the three most important elements down. Control builds scarcity, heritage builds trust, culture builds relevance. With scarcity, trust, and relevance, Louis Vuitton stays visible, without ever asking for attention. In a market where most brands fight to be seen, Louis Vuitton stays silent and still wins the luxury war. So what do you think? Is Louis Vuitton's silent marketing strategy completely genius, or is it a big risk to take? Let us know in the comments below.